What if I told you the most dangerous criminals in the world don't need guns, masks, or getaway cars? They sit silently behind glowing screens, moving billions of dollars, silencing governments, and stealing identities without leaving a single fingerprint. Their crimes happen in seconds, yet their mysteries can take years to unravel. Welcome to the hidden world of cybercrime investigation, where detectives chase shadows in code, secrets hide in the dark web, and the truth is often stranger than fiction. In a world where every text, call, and transaction leaves a digital footprint, a silent war is being fought. It's not fought with bullets or bombs, but with code, firewalls, and relentless determination. Behind the headlines of billion-dollar heists and mysterious hacks are men and women who dedicate their lives to chasing criminals most of us will never see. They're the digital detectives, working in the shadows to uncover secrets that could change everything. Tonight, we step into their world, the hidden battlefield of cybercrime investigation. Take the story of the infamous ransomware attack that crippled hospitals across the world. Doctors and nurses, desperate to save lives, suddenly found their screens locked, patient data inaccessible, and a cold message demanding Bitcoin for release. Investigators rushed in not with flashing lights, but with laptops and servers. They traced the malware across continents, following fragments of code hidden like breadcrumbs on infected machines. Each step revealed part of the puzzle, but just as quickly, the hackers vanished behind new layers of anonymity. In the end, the victims recovered slowly, but the true criminals were never brought to justice. This is the harsh reality of cybercrime investigation. Victories are partial and closure is rare. But the challenge is exactly what drives these investigators. In one case, a small business reported that their entire bank account, hundreds of thousands of dollars, had been emptied overnight. No broken locks, no forced entry, just numbers disappearing into cyberspace. Digital detectives began tracing the transactions. Each transfer bounced across multiple countries in seconds, passing through shadow accounts and anonymous wallets. Piece by piece, the trail grew cold. But investigators don't give up so easily. They turn to metadata, comparing timestamps, login points, and behavioral patterns. Eventually, they discovered that the attack had started months earlier with a phishing email disguised as a vendor invoice. One wrong click had given the hackers the keys. The stolen money was never fully recovered, but the investigation revealed the hidden machinery of cybercrime syndicates, teaching investigators new methods to fight back. Inside the labs of cybercrime units, the work is painstaking. Walls lined with screens glow in dark rooms, displaying scrolling codes, IP addresses, and maps of global traffic. Teams of specialists work around the clock, each focusing on one tiny fragment of the bigger picture. One analyst studies malware behavior, another hunts through the dark web for chatter, while others reverse engineer viruses to see what secrets lie within. The process can take weeks, months, or even years. And in many cases, investigators know they are up against adversaries funded by entire governments or massive criminal organizations. The battle against cybercrime isn't always about money. It's also about power and control. When Estonia was brought to its knees in 2007 by a coordinated wave of cyberattacks, investigators faced a new frontier: digital warfare. Banks collapsed, government portals shut down, and citizens couldn't access basic services. Investigators had to think fast, combining forensic analysis with international cooperation. They traced the attack to botnet networks of infected computers across the globe, controlled remotely by faceless hackers. But the masterminds behind the attack? They were never identified with certainty. For investigators, the unanswered question wasn't just who was responsible, but what this meant for the future. If a small nation could be paralyzed overnight, what about larger ones? Cybercrime investigations often reveal the ingenuity of criminals. In the Carbonac case, hackers infiltrated banks not by breaking firewalls directly, but by impersonating employees. Once inside the network, they studied daily operations for months, watching, learning, and blending in. When the time was right, they issued fake transfers and manipulated ATMs to dispense cash on command. Investigators eventually pieced together the method: but the sheer patience and sophistication of the attack shocked the world. Forensic teams spent years analyzing the malware, and while some suspects were caught, many slipped away into the shadows. To this day, investigators use Carbonac as a case study in the evolving craft of digital theft. But cybercrime isn't always about big banks or governments. Sometimes it's about individuals whose lives are turned upside down by faceless criminals. One such case involved a woman whose entire identity was stolen. Credit cards, loans, medical records, all hijacked by someone who never once saw her in person. Investigators stepped in to unravel the digital threads. They traced fake applications, identified fraudulent accounts, and compared handwriting on electronic forms. Slowly, they built a profile of the thief. But the investigation revealed something more chilling. The criminal was using multiple stolen identities at once, creating a web of false lives across the internet. It was a reminder that behind every headline-grabbing cybercrime, there are countless smaller stories where ordinary people are left to pick up the pieces. For investigators, the digital battlefield extends into the darkest corners of the internet, the places most people never see. On the dark web, marketplaces flourish where drugs, weapons, and stolen data are traded like everyday goods. Digital detectives pose as buyers, infiltrate forums, and deploy undercover servers to catch glimpses of these hidden worlds. But here, trust is scarce and danger lurks at every turn. Hackers and criminals use encrypted messaging, cryptocurrencies, and constant obfuscation to stay ahead. Investigators must outthink and outmaneuver their adversaries, often spending months to gain even a small foothold in these networks. One breakthrough can lead to dozens of arrests, but one misstep can erase months of work in seconds. Perhaps the most remarkable part of cybercrime investigation is the human element. Behind every screen, every keyboard, are people driven by obsession, curiosity, and a desire for justice. Many investigators admit they spend long nights staring at code, chasing leads that might never pay off. Yet, when a single IP address links to a suspect, or when a decrypted file reveals a criminal's plan, the rush of discovery is unlike anything else. It's a reminder that in a world of algorithms and automation, human intuition still matters. Some investigations cross borders and become international efforts. Cybercrime knows no boundaries, and neither can the pursuit of justice. Agencies from different countries often collaborate, sharing intelligence, tools, and expertise. But cooperation isn't always easy. Different laws, politics, and priorities can slow down even the most urgent cases. Yet without collaboration, many of the biggest breakthroughs would never happen. Investigators often say that cybercrime has forced the world to rethink what global policing means. The fight isn't just local, it's everywhere at once. Every case leaves behind lessons. When investigators solve part of a mystery, they publish reports, warn industries, and build defenses to prevent the next attack. But they also know the cycle never ends. As soon as one vulnerability is patched, another is discovered. As soon as one hacker is caught, another emerges. The work is relentless, but essential. Step inside the shoes of a cybercrime investigator, and you'll realize it's not just about catching criminals. It's about protecting the world from unseen threats. Every email you open, every online purchase you make, every login you type depends on their silent war behind the scenes. Their victories rarely make headlines, and their failures often shake entire nations. Yet, they continue, day after day, piecing together the secrets of digital criminals who thrive in the shadows. As technology evolves, so does the battlefield. Artificial intelligence, deepfakes, quantum computing, these tools will change both how criminals attack and how investigators defend. The future of cybercrime investigation will be even more complex, requiring sharper minds, stronger cooperation, and new innovations. But one thing will never change: the need to unmask the hidden, to bring order to chaos, and to ensure that the digital world we rely on doesn't collapse into lawlessness. Cybercrime investigation is not glamorous. It is not fast, and it is not easy. But it is one of the most vital battles of our time. The world may never know the names of most digital detectives, but their work echoes in every safe transaction, every secure message, and every protected system. They are the unsung guardians of the internet, fighting battles we cannot see and facing enemies we may never fully understand. The world of cybercrime investigation is a never-ending story of shadows and secrets. Every time one case is closed, another one begins. For every hacker caught, a dozen more remain at large, waiting for their chance to strike. But thanks to the unseen work of digital detectives, we are safer than we realize. Their victories may not always make headlines, but they keep our lives, our money, and our futures just a little more secure. If this deep dive into the hidden world of cybercrime fascinated you, make sure to like this video, share it with others, and subscribe for more stories that reveal the mysteries shaping our digital age. Until next time, stay alert, stay safe, and remember the biggest crimes today often leave no fingerprints, only shadows in the code.